Hi, everyone. Welcome to SBR Sports Picks. My name is Peter Loshak. His name is Jimmy the Bag. This is Loshak in the Bag show for Thursday, June 21st. Today's going to be a nice bunch of shows. I am doing a show with Andreas Hale. We're going to preview UFC, the next UFC from Singapore coming up. So that's going to be good. Of course, in the afternoon show, we're going to have Team Bankroll. You know what I'm saying? We got CFL, which is always fun. Jim and I are off to a nice start in CFL. 3-0 for me, 1-0 for Jimmy the Bag. Yesterday was a frustrating day, though, in MLB. Jim, I need a bounce back.
This whole week's been terrible for me. All the momentum I made last week gone.
And yesterday was a frustrating day for me. In general, it wasn't that bad of a handicapping day. I nailed the unders in Boston, Minnesota. You know what I'm saying, Jim? You know what I'm saying? I'm just throwing this out there. Once in a while, feel free to tell me if you want. If you think I got a good read on the game.
I almost did.
Yeah, you almost did. And I could tell because you were reading me well on that one. You were like, I don't know about this game, but I know this capper sitting next to me, and I know when he's onto something good or not. And you were reading me correctly. So in general, maybe you should trust your instincts on your handicapping of my handicapping. You know what I'm saying? So I nailed that one, but and then the Yankees game, we got a little bit lucky on that one, which is nice. But the big mistakes we made yesterday, I don't know if it was a mistake, but we bet on Morton to get hit. And I know that Houston then put up a bunch of runs in the sixth, which happens. But I had Houston first 5 innings over. I had the first 5 innings team total over. Jim had Houston first 5 innings over and the full game over. We both took losses with that one. It's always important in sports betting to look back at your losses and your wins and decide, did I make the right decision there? Did I bet too small? Did I bet too big? Did we make the right decision there taking those overs? What's the deal with that, Jim?
Well, Morton got in trouble early in the first 2 innings too and got out of it. The Astros overs have just destroyed me this week.
Yes. Look, it's a game of inches. Looking at your inches of comments, Teddy B. Shout out to Teddy B. We're going to have a big slate of WNBA tomorrow. Teddy B and King Rail just killing WNBA. Hopefully we'll have some winners for everyone on Friday in
Zach
WNBA.
Kinkle, too. Zach Kinkle.
Really?
Our cappers here on the Loshak in the Bag chat killing WNBA.
Very nice. Teddy B says, Bag Loshak, I'm giving you guys my favorite play. Argentina against Croatia. Both teams to score and love the draw here. Croatia knows they can get a draw and win the group. Teddy B, we're kind of already on that, aren't we, Jim? Jim and I already locked in the over 2 in yesterday's show. So shout out to you, Teddy B. We're in agreement with you on that one. Jimmy and I both, I bet that one, and Jimmy and I both locked in the over 2 on that one. So obviously,
I have four plays locked in for that game.
We will talk about that game later on today. Let's see what else is going on. Then just a quick review of yesterday. Yeah, it's a game of inches. There's a lot of variance in MLB. The thing I'm most annoyed with is that I'm leaving some big underdogs on the table. Like, for example, yesterday I had a loser with Baltimore, Washington first 5 innings over, but I also had the Baltimore first 5 innings team total over, which pushed. And in retrospect, I should have had Baltimore -1. I should have taken a big shot with a big underdog line there. Whenever there's a big underdog that you think has a nice chance to win in baseball, it's usually worth taking a shot with, the alternative run line on those dogs. And that has been the case with Baltimore, also with Minnesota, right? Who was it we were sitting here in the show talking about how with the Chris Sale game, I said that I thought Minnesota had a chance at a live dog, and turned out that I think it was Nostratoto who was on that one alternative run line, and I didn't have the balls to give him as a money line pick. I should have given him -1. That's how I got to this point in the first place, by having some balls, taking some alternative run lines. You know what I'm saying? Cincinnati when they were a big dog, and I've left some money on the table, not taking shots with Baltimore. And then the Mets -1. We both had that one. In retrospect, I think that was probably an okay thing to do. The San Francisco game, I had the first 5 over, and it went over in the 6th, not in the 5th. So when the breaks are going your way in MLB, it just seems like you're an MLB genius. When the breaks are going against you realize that these lines are very tight, and there's a lot of variance in MLB. Sometimes it goes against you, sometimes it goes in your favor. I'm still up 40 units on the year, Jim. Not bad, right?
You're doing great.
Yeah,
I'm the one taking it in the drink hole, man. It's this week's just been awful. I had so much momentum created last week, and I've just fucking. I'm in the worst spot now than I was in my worst time 2 weeks ago. So it's just bad.
Jim, it's just keep on keeping on. I think you have a good read on your contrarian plays, and keep listening. I think sack up and maybe tail some people that you think have good reads. I do the the same thing. And I think you'll be positive in no time. Martin Muerte says Morton over was the wrong play. Yeah. It was. I thought he was gonna. You did watch that game. You watched that game.
I did. Yeah. Well, I've got the baseball package. I was going from game to game to game.
I mean, what's up with Morton? Are his PEDs wearing off or not? They still working?
I try not to get into the idea that these guys are on performance-enhancing drugs. It doesn't help my capping. It makes me take guesses on shit that I don't know anything about, and I think it negatively affects my gambling.
Okay, fair enough. Are his miraculous, magical career turnaround, which we have no idea what caused it, wearing off, or is that likely to continue?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Morton. I thought that was a great time because I thought Eovaldi could get touched as well. I thought doubling up there was going to be nice, and it hurt me, man. It's been a fucking awful week. Sick and fucking angry and losing and not sleeping, and I'm really fucking pissed off.
Oh. Sorry about that. I didn't realize it was that bad, Jim.
Yeah, it's that fucking bad.
Well, Jim is seriously pissed off. I will admit that I am mildly annoyed. Still feeling good, but mildly annoyed, Jim. You know what I'm saying? I will tell you one thing about Houston. Those Houston overs, that can be it can be very tempting to take Houston overs. That can be a very, very, very under-trending, a pitcher-friendly park. Even when you have a team like Houston with a vicious lineup, in general, it goes against my better instincts to take overs with Houston. I was just thinking the reason I did it in these last few games was because I thought maybe Verlander and Morton were both in positions to start fading. But in general, I don't like taking overs at Houston. I like taking overs with the Astros on the road. But in that park, I'm telling you, it's very tricky because it has a short left field. But if you look at the numbers, it's actually it inhibits the scoring quite a bit, much more than you would maybe think at first glance. So just keep that in mind, Jim. That is definitely something.
And their record's much worse at home. It's I just thought that I've just been so off on these overs. This week, everything going on in Houston has killed me. Killed me, and it started with that comeback on Monday when I had the Rays as a big dog. It started there, and everything's just fucking falling apart.
I mean, you definitely I'm looking at a comment from Twate Latte. You've definitely gotten unlucky more than a few times this week. I will definitely tell you that. Twate Latte says, can a guy have a bad start or two without getting told he's terrible? Absolutely, Twate Latte. There's a couple of starters today who are in that position. You know, we always wonder if it's a speed bump or not. Paxton is one of them, for example. Charlie Morton is a different case because he has such a history of being such an auto fade. So when you have a guy like Charlie Morton or Doug Fister or Bartolo Colon or any of these guys who, if they have a bad start or two, it's kind of like a drug addict. If you're like a nice, upstanding, respectable citizen, and you have a weekend where you go away and a little, it's fine, no big deal. But if you're a former drug addict and suddenly you show up to work and you're looking all haggard and everything, then you start to wonder. You know what I'm saying? It's their past. It's Charlie Morton's past that made me think that he was, and Verlander too. Verlander had a few years where he looked like he was in decline. You know what I'm saying, Jim? It's not because they had a bad start. It's because they had a bad start or two combined with their history, right?
Yes. I'm okay with the decision that we've made, trying to fade Verlander and Morton here. And I know people are trying to help. Teddy's trying to help. Teddy B saying the Coors Field fade right now is a stay off. There's no way that's a stay off. This has been a winning play. We knew coming into the season that this was going to lose at times 4 or 5 times in a row, and that doesn't mean that it's a stay off. So I don't agree with that. I think that's just.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not betting that Coors Field fade every game, but it's definitely something that I think about, and again, something I should be thinking about with any big underdog that I think has a big chance of winning. Especially, I'm more annoyed. I'm not, the losses that I had, I'm okay with most of them. I'm more annoyed that I didn't take Baltimore -1 yesterday because I had a good read on that game. I thought Baltimore's offense would be okay against Gonzalez, as Tom Tomor said. A lot of times these pitchers who come back quickly off the DL have a good first first start back, which was the case with Kashner. And I just thought that whether it was a high-scoring game or low-scoring game, Baltimore had a chance there. I had their first 5 innings in my leans category as well. And I'm actually more annoyed that I didn't take Baltimore -1 yesterday than with any of the losses that I had.
Yeah,
all right.
I understand.
Let's just quickly get to some comments, and then we'll get into MLB. We do have some early games here. Jimmy the Bag. Let's see. Craig Schrader, a lot of support for you, Jim. Says, cheer up, Jim. I'll send Oprah over a few. Here we go. Other comments coming in. Jared Schrader saying, laughing my fucking ass off. Jimmy legit pissed. Chris Garza says, Jared, do you get your rocks off from others' pain? I do sometimes. I sometimes, see others in pain and get a little thrill, right? Jim, you're having a tough time. You're sick.
I'm pissed off.
You're having some losers. I totally get it. All right. Any other comments that you want? Tom Marino says Houston's bullpen has been better the last couple weeks. I have always had Houston's bullpen rated top 5 the entire season. So yeah, it's another reason why I don't like betting overs with Houston, especially at home. That was those were bad calls. Let's see what else do we have here. Any comments coming in? Any comments coming in? We're gonna get to all the games. And all right, I guess that's about it. All right. Let's move on. Let's move on to MLB handicapping. Jimmy the Bag, how about that?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's start with the 2 1:00 games, Seattle Yankees, Boston, and Minnesota. Paxton and Severino. Paxton is off of a bad start. So to answer Tuate Latte's question, can a starter have a bad start without labeling him as a terrible starting pitcher? Of course. And probably that's what we're going to do here with Paxton, right? He's off a bad start, but that had to have been a speed bump, right?
The losing's getting to me. I broke down all these games. I've not made any bets on them. The only bet I know I'm going to make is a Coors Field fade. At this point, I found the card tricky, but I guess that's an easy thing to feel when you're in the throes of a losing streak. Game time temp, 80 Fahrenheit, wind blowing in. At first, I thought, fuck. Whatever.
No, tell us what you
fuck off.
What, is someone saying something bad for you, or are you saying something bad?
No, everybody's saying positive shit. Everybody's being positive.
Jimmy. First of all, as we know, in not in all investing, not just sports betting, but also on Wall Street, the people, the research people, and the analysts and the actual guys who handle the money are different people because they're different skill sets. And just because someone might be you might be down with your picking, now I'm getting pissed, Jimmy. Tell us what you think. We want to know what you think. I love your research, Jimmy the Bag. Tell us what you think. Your research helps me think, Jim. Tell us what you think.
We can break this game now. Yankees 16-4 in their last 20 games. Mariners 13-6 last 19. 32-17 in their last 49. Paxton has looked very good up until that last start. 6-1, 3.53 ERA, 1.07 WHIP. He has never faced the Yankees. He's a heart and soul character guy. Will he have too much emotion on the mound is one concerning factor I have. Coming off the shortest start of the season, allowed 5 earned runs on 6 hits, 2 1/3. Severino 10-2, 2.09 ERA, 0.93 WHIP. He is just on a roll. He is an ace. 1-0, 2.84 ERA in 2 career starts. We know the Yankees smash lefties. 258, 821 OPS versus them. Mariners rating 258, 740 OPS. Those numbers are dropping. It's their power numbers that are dropping. Their average is actually going up a little bit while their OPS continues to go down.
Yeah, this is a really, really tough game. And, it's obviously at first glance you think, wow, Paxton at plus 170. But, I mean, the Yankees have that lineup. The Yankees have that bullpen. And the Yankees got Severino going. I'm probably going to stay off this game. If you gave me a free play on it, I would probably take a shot with the Yankees, and I would maybe take a shot with the Yankees on the second half, but I'm going to stay off this game. All right, the Boston-Minnesota game is interesting. I did have a good read on that game yesterday, including not giving you notice how I gave the full game under at 8.5 when I bet it at 9. I did not give the Minnesota team total under at 3.5 when I bet it at 4, and that wound up being the right decision. That was that one wound up being a push. Porcello against Gibson. I'm vaguely leaning towards an under here again, although the line has gotten bet up, and feels like it might be a bounce back spot for Boston, at least on the second half. Gibson, of course, has been pretty good, so I'm leaning under. I'm leaning Boston second half, although it does seem like Boston's just coming here to have a sluggish, lethargic offensive series, and that maybe they might just be like, look, we can't hit in this park. Let's just lose another game and then move on to our next series and try to sweep our next series. Something's up with Boston.
Twatty thinks there's going to be offense in this game, and he's got a good, really, really great read on totals. The wind is blowing in. Porcello seems very susceptible.
Sure.
3.70 ERA, 1.16 WHIP. But he hasn't been that bad. 2-1, 3.60 ERA over his last 4 starts. For some reason, I thought his numbers had been worse over the last 4 starts. It was the Mariners that tagged him for 4 over 6 on Friday in his last start, but that was on the road. This is another tough road start. 3.90 ERA in 29 career starts against the Twins, but he's yet to face the Twins this year. Gibson has been good this year.
Yep.
Very unlucky to only have 2 wins. In his last start, he outdueled Corey Kluber. Is this a letdown spot for him? Possibly. Is the over maybe the play here? Possibly. I feel like the bats are going to come out at some point, and after Gibson's incredible performance against Kluber, is he susceptible?
Possibly.
Mud says Porcello very hittable. Tomor says Porcello's been better at home.
Whatever makes you happy says Minnesota hot right now. Porcello actually pitches well in Minnesota, though. I will take definitely Boston on the second half -120. I'm taking Boston on the second half -120. Jim, you think that's a good play that I've just made? Boston second half -120. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I don't know if it does, because if what you said, if Boston is going to say we can't hit in this parking mail, then it's not a good play. But
that's the one thing that makes me nervous. Although they do have a good bullpen and they do have I think it's a good play. Jim, you want to tail it?
No.
Okay. All right. Boston, second half. That's definitely an official play for me. My first thought was under, but it makes me, you're right. The bats might come out here. Makes me a little bit nervous. Could be maybe thinking about a second half under at 3.5 -115, but I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it a little easier. I'm just going to take Boston on the second half -120. And I think if there is offense in this game, then very likely it means that Boston wins or wins by more than 1. So maybe if you really like if you really think there's going to be offense here, maybe parlaying Boston at like -120 with the over at like 9 at plus money might be worth a shot. The Greek has 8.5 -125. I'm not sure what I think about the total. I was leaning under, and I was leaning towards Boston on the full game as well. For now, I'm just going to take Boston second half -120. I would definitely though have a lean towards Boston on the full game as well, and maybe take a shot with the Minnesota team total under. Although let's see, Tom Marino says Gibson has been good, but he's been much better on the road. At home against Boston's lineup, I think he gets hit. Whatever makes you happy says Minnesota hot right now. Yeah, Porcello actually pitches well in Minnesota, though. Marino Gibson has been garbage at home. Teams hitting 300 against him, and he's struggled at home last 3 years. I'd lean Boston and over. I'd lean Boston and under.
Swati like in the first 5 over 4.5.
Interesting. Dom Ricci loves Boston today. Great line. That's what I was thinking. My only concern with Boston here is just twofold, right? One is that, I don't love backing Porcello. And my other concern is just what we just talked about, that it seems like Boston's bats are a little bit in a funk. Usually that happens when teams go to like those West Coast parks, but it can sometimes happen even when they go to any park. You know what I mean? They'll just go and psychologically they're just out of it and they have a bad series, get swept, and then they go to their next series and get a sweep.
Have they announced the lineup yet?
Let me see. Yes, they have. And most of the people are in there, I think, for Boston. Mookie Betts, Benintendi, Martinez, Moreland, Bogaerts, Devers, Holt, Leone, and Bradley. Who's out? Anyone? Any names jump out at you?
That looks fine to me. That looks fine to me. Let's see what that... the Twins have Lemaire in the center field. I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Twatty is onto something.
Mm-hmm.
King Rail's on Boston on the -1.5 line.
Right.
Not applicable says Boston will shit the bed today.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely be leaning Boston. I've definitely taken Boston on the second half. We can come back to this. We do have a short slate of MLB games. We can come back to this game if we want to make some final decisions. Let's move on to the Mets-Colorado game. Huge line move favoring Colorado. Opened in the -130s. Now it's all the way up into the -150s. Bookmaker at -162. The Greek at -167. Bet365 at -165. So just a massive line move here in favor of Colorado. That might be due to some due to some lineup announcements, although I'm not seeing any lineups announced. Matz, as we know, is in general quite effective, but injury prone. He could break down at any point. And Freeland is a guy who is not great, but knows how to be okay at Coors. This is an interesting one. 3 straight 100 pitch starts for both of these guys.
Yeah, they're both pitching well. They're both pitching well, and I thought that the reason why this total was going up was just because of what we've seen over the last 8 or 9 games at Coors Field, not because of these pitchers. Past 10 starts for Freeland, 6-3, 2.89 ERA, limited opposing hitters to 237, 646 OPS in that stretch. In 8 starts at Coors Field this season, he's at 2.93 ERA. That's excellent. That is excellent. Mets are hitting. Matz is pitching well. I mean, we know this Rockies team's allowed at least 8 runs each of their last 9 home games. It's tied the Browns from 1894 for longest such streak. I don't know if that continues. And Matz has been pitching well. 1 run in 6 2/3. Lost 2-0 to the Rockies at Citi Field on May 5th. He's only had the 1 start at Coors Field, and he looked okay. But in his past 5 starts, he's 2-1 with a 1.88 ERA. He's allowed 2 or fewer runs in 4 of those 5 outings. Opposing hitters are hitting 208 with a 609 OPS. It feels like both these pitchers are pitching better than they pitched all year. Now, Sean Robertson and Jared Schrader are both on the unders here. Mally Mal's on the under here as well. No Shitoda telling me to double up the fade. Which is possible. My first instinct, obviously, I'm going to take the fade here, but my instinct was maybe they could get under that 6.5 runs on the first 5.
I don't know. I thought that if there were good spots for unders in this series, they would have come in other games. You know, I had some leans to the unders in the first couple games in this series, and I definitely was on the wrong side of that one. Got burned, so I'm going to stay off of the total on this one for sure. If you want the Mets here on the -1.5 line at Bet365, it would be +230. Do you want that one, Jim?
Yeah.
All right, Jim's going to take the Mets on the alternative run line +230. That's the current line at Bet365. I'm going to stay off this game for now. I think I'm going to take it a little bit easy. I'm not going to be giving 15, 18 official plays like I have this week. I'm just going to stick to the plays that I'm definitely feeling good about. Boston on the second half is one of those plays, and maybe Boston on the -1 line is a play that I will add. Someone earlier said that the Yankees on the second half is a no-brainer play. Let me just see what that line would be right now. It's a -130. Yeah, I can see that. The problem is Seattle does have a pretty decent bullpen as well. I can understand a play on the Yankees on the second half at -130. I'm gonna hold off on that one though, but I can certainly see that. Let me see what else do we have here going on, and that's it for the day games. I'm definitely on Boston. Second half, I'm thinking about taking Boston -1, adding that one on. Jim is definitely on the Mets -1.5 at a big line. And the Seattle Yankees game, I would have a lean to the Yankees second half. I would have a lean to the Yankees on the full game. But I'm just gonna pass on that one. It's a little bit of an iffy spot for me. An early game like that on a getaway day with Paxton starting, coming off a bad start, just not quite sure how to handle it. All right, let's move on to the night games. A bunch of these night games did not have overnight lines, so I did not handicap them. I will get into them though this afternoon, and we will discuss them in the evening show at 6:00 Eastern time. Arizona Pittsburgh did not have an overnight line, so I did not look into that one. St. Louis Milwaukee, no overnight line, so I did not look into that one. All the other games though I did. One bet that I made, I'm worried this game might get canceled because it might get rained out, but Oakland and the White Sox, I took a shot with the under, and I would definitely be liking the second half under here. These two lineups can be held down, and I think if ever Giolito is going to have a decent start, it will come here, which doesn't mean it will. I'm just saying if ever he does, that's my feeling. Definitely liking the second half under here, but someone was saying, that is the game already canceled, or is it just likely to be canceled?
I believe it's just likely.
Okay.
Likely to be canceled. Yeah, strong wind blowing in. I don't know what we're going to get from Chris Bassett.
Yeah.
He's a huge question mark. If anybody's as much of a question mark as Giolito, Bassett might be. White Sox have lost 7 straight. They're a very difficult team to trust. The A's are rolling. 1-4 straight, outscored their opponents 28-15 during the streak. Bassett 0-2, 2.45 ERA, 1.09 whip. That's just through 11 innings. He's not that kind of a pitcher. 29 years old, hasn't been able to hold down job in Major League Baseball, but it was the White Sox that he started with. And I wonder if that maybe gives him a little bit of added emotion here to try and pitch well. Giolito, 4-7, 7.19 ERA, 1.64 whip, 45 walks to 40 strikeouts. I mean, it's just atrocious. White Sox are hitting 237, 692 OPS. Yohan Moncada was trying to say positive things because they're down. They're down in that clubhouse right now. A's are hitting 241, 728 OPS, and the A's are rolling.
Yeah, I'm looking at. I'm not even seeing the second.
Oh, and Tomer says ESPN lists the game as postponed.
Yeah. All right. So sorry, you'll never get those 15 seconds, those 30 seconds back again. Very sorry about that. I was going to give shots with the unders, but obviously game is postponed. All right, let's move on to a different game then. Let's see. Well, it is Matt Harvey Day. Yes, Matt Harvey is officially a guy who has earned a day, right?
I faded him last start and it didn't work out for me. I want to fade him every time he hits the mount.
Yes, that's why he has a day. That's why it's always Matt Harvey Day. I'm seeing that this game might be postponed as well, although I'm not sure if it actually has been. There's also light rain, but I think this game will go off. It's Matt Harvey Day. I think we got to fade him here. Why not? Why would we not? Against the Cubs? Come on.
Well, the Reds are playing good ball.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we fade him, maybe we just take team total overs.
Yes.
Reds have won 6 of 8, feeling good about themselves. We talked about what the Jays were like when they were getting production from the back end of their lineup. Now the Reds are, Tucker Barnhart's on fire. The Reds are getting production up and down their lineup now. They're impressive. Cubs have won 4 of 6, 13 of 19. Hendricks 5 and 6, 3.55 ERA, 1.15 WHIP, 4 and 1 with 3.57 ERA, 11 career starts against the Reds. Harvey is bad. 1 and 5, 5.92 ERA. WHIP is okay. 1 and 3 with a 5.09 ERA and 7 starts with Cincinnati. 0 and 3 since his last win on May 22nd. Harvey has allowed 16 earned runs, 23 hits in his last 21 and a third. That's bad. All of them Reds losses. Harvey 1 and 1 with a 4.57 ERA and 4 career starts against the Cubs. Yes, Kobe Valentine says, "Give me Matt Harvey."
Really, Kobe Valentine liking Matt Harvey.
And Nostra Tota feels the same way about Aaron Sanchez that we feel about Harvey. So I'm looking forward to talk about that game. Jim Tolbason's on the Cubs money line. What is the line right now?
Well, the Cubs, it's up in the minus 150s. I was thinking that the Cubs on the first 5 innings team total over at 2.5 minus 114 would be a no-brainer play, and maybe the Cubs on the full game team total over at 5 minus 120 might be a no-brainer play as well. Kobe Valentine, give me Matt Harvey. Is it possible that Kobe means give me Matt Harvey so I can fade him, or does he mean give me Matt Harvey so I can bet on him? Kobe Valentine,
Kobe
we respect.
likes to fade the public. He hears all of us saying one thing, so he's just being a contrarian.
I'm not necessarily saying I want to bet the Cubs on this money line. I'm just saying I want to take team total overs with the Cubs against Harvey. Is Kobe Valentine, do we have reason to expect a better than the expected start, at least what the general public is expecting here from Matt Harvey? Because I think probably not. I mean, the Cubs, standard quality, awesome Cubs lineup, right? I'm assuming that most or all of the big bats will be in there for the Cubs. They can hit him. Harvey, I'm thinking that we auto fade Harvey. I was also thinking that Hendricks might be a little bit vulnerable as well. So I was thinking about the first 5 innings over, which I'm thinking is where is that? Yeah, it's just 5. I was also thinking about the first 5 innings over because I'm not totally sold on Hendricks either. He's been giving up home runs recently. He's probably good for a home run or maybe 2 here. He's probably good for at least a couple of runs. Harvey a couple runs, and I was thinking about the first 5 innings over for both these guys.
That's interesting because my feeling is that with Morrow out, I feel like the Cubs bullpen is susceptible, and my instinct there is just to take the Cubs by a half run in the first 5. But when you talk about you thinking Hendricks is getting touched and the way the Reds are hitting makes it uncomfortable. The only play I'm not locking right now is the Cubs first 5 team total over.
All right, I'll do that one with you, Jim, and we're gonna get first 5 innings, team total over 2.5 minus 114. We are going to get that one, 2.5 minus 114. I'm also thinking about the first 5 innings over at 5, the Cubs full game team total over at 5, and maybe even the full game over at 9 or whatever. Justin Paul says that line is going to move in Cincinnati's favor shortly. Interesting. Dow fan says maybe over if the Cubs if the game is played. Nostra Tota says Cubs or nothing. Cubs or nothing. Al Hard says over on the game. Al Hard says just take the over. Scotty Rock Forever says the Cubs run line. Even Tomarino Tomor says Cubs have seen Harvey a lot. I think he gets hit here. So the only one who seems to be implying that he's liking the Reds here is Kobe Valentine. Let's see. Chris Carter says Matt Harvey's going to get blasted in the face. Yes. What else do we have here? Justin Paul's like Cincinnati. Oh, here we go. Okay, Justin Paul's like Cincinnati plus 1.5. Interesting. Contrarian play there.
Kobe says since he can hit, Hendricks will let 4 to 5 runs. Harvey's off and on with good games at home. Just had a bad one at home. I truly believe being in Cincy will help Harvey get confidence back. Raul Portuondo on the Cubs and over.
Carlos Barode says, at Jimmy, Matt Harvey as a pitcher equals human rights violation. Is it possible that my one human rights violation joke that I made a few days ago will turn into an inside joke in this? Do you think it was obvious that when I looked into the camera a few days ago and said that I actually like human rights violations, that's an obvious joke, right?
I think it's an obvious joke to 98% of our viewers, but there's 2% of viewers who are worried, sick.
Really?
Thinking of
Did someone said that? Saw something too? No. Okay. I mean, I'm just worried about you know how things go, and in 2018 you can say something that gets misinterpreted, and like someone says this guy from SBR says he loves human rights violations, and I'm like, yeah, but it's an obvious joke, but then it doesn't. You know what I'm saying? And then people will be like, fire Loshak. You know what I'm saying? And SBR will. You know what I'm saying?
No, they need you desperately. You look at your baseball record, man.
Can I keep making... I was watching, and not to go on a tangent here, but I was watching Jamie Foxx and Sarah Silverman having a conversation on YouTube. I love both of them. They're both awesome, right? And they were talking about, what can you make jokes about in 2018? A lot of things you can't make jokes about even from 10 years ago. Can I make human rights violations jokes? I'm not saying... This
tricky. Is a safe place. The Loshak in the bag shows a safe place.
All right. Okay. Sorry about that tangent. Anyway, yes, as you know, when I'm going on tangents, it's usually because I'm trying to get the balls to make a play here. I've already given Cubs first half team total over 2.5 with you, Jim, and I'm thinking about tripling up or quadrupling up. First 5 innings over, Cubs team total over, maybe even the Cubs full game over.
Yeah, I can understand. Those plays.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
What do you think?
A lot. Kevin K says exactly over in Great American Ballpark.
Yeah. All right. Let me make some decisions here. Let me sack up here. Hold on 1 second. Let me sack here. Let me sack. Yeah. Here. Prediction guy says, Pete, if you love human rights violations, go spend a day in a Yemeni prison. Yes, I'm obviously kidding, right? It's like, all right, okay.
Is that not a good spot for the Loshak in the Bag show?
All right, I won't make any human rights violations. Obviously, human rights violations are horrific, and I wish they were just
Scotty
stopped.
Rock says you're in the trust tree.
Jesus Christ, no, but yeah, no, I don't like human rights violations. Okay, let me be clear. Let me be perfectly clear so there's no misinterpretations. I do not like human rights violations, okay?
But you find them humorous.
No, I don't find them humorous. I find because sometimes if you got nothing left in life, all you have is jokes, right?
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? No, obviously I hate human rights violations. All right, let's see. And it's horrible, horrific, all over the world. All right, so let me see. Hendricks on the over, team total over 5, and the first 5 innings over as well. Let me just think about this for a second. Any other comments coming in that?
Marco Lou says there's a special place in the Trump administration for you, Pete.
Yeah, I'm kidding around. All right, okay, no more human rights violations jokes. I'm only gonna make puns from now on.
Oh no!
All right? Yes.
No.
Oh, I'm gonna make them.
Oh,
I'm gonna make them. I will. I'll make some puns, and you will. And people won't understand that that's ironic. Okay, let's see. Oh God, is Harvey gonna get really hit? And is Hendricks vulnerable here? I think the answer to that.
I don't think Hendricks is vulnerable because he's pitching poorly.
Mm-hmm.
I think he might be vulnerable because the Reds lineup is hitting right now.
Yeah. Let me see. All right. Let me see what I want to do here. What do I want to do here? Okay. I will take. No, you know what? It's a 7:00 game. I'll hold off for now. I'll make my final decisions on tripling up or quadrupling up in the evening show. Once again, I've gone with the first 5 innings team total over 2.5 with Jimmy the Bag. And the plays that I really want to give are the first 5 innings over, which would be 5, and the Cubs team total over, which would also be 5 at Pinnacle right now. And let's move on. All right, what else do we have? Well, Toronto against the Angels, -110. Nostratota says it's also Sanchez Day. No, Sanchez isn't that bad. He's just maybe a little bit overvalued.
You know, it's funny. I just have this vividness bias that's gotten in the way of fading him this year.
Mm-hmm.
And Nostra's made tons of money off of it. And here comes Sanchez. He's got first time pitching in this ballpark. He's got friends and family. He lived in between Anaheim here and Vegas. He grew up in Barstow, I believe, and went to Barstow High. And so he's got tons of friends and family here. But Skaggs is pitching very well. I understand why Sanchez just doesn't look like his old self. Now, I don't want to wax poetic and think just because he's pitching in front of his friends and family. I've got a problem. I'm doing a shit job capping Sanchez games because that 2016 year was such a special year for our baseball team in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
And he was such a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, this game, on paper has Angels written all over it, right? Skaggs has been awesome for a bunch of starts in a row, and it's not really a fade of Sanchez. It's just a fade of Toronto in general. Obviously, a fadeable team. The Angels doing pretty well at home, and Skaggs has been awesome in his last few games. Feels like it's just a little bit of a trap there. If there's any game on this card that has trap written all over it, it is this one taking the Angels, right?
I don't think so. I think Toronto is a bad baseball team.
Yeah.
Not applicable, says Toronto's the right dope for Angels to start hitting. I don't think you can go wrong fading Toronto every day. Now I know they went on that winning streak, and Drew Martin was right when he said that there was value. He was right. They went on that winning streak. They swept the Nationals out of nowhere. I think they're a bad baseball team, and Marco Lu says no. Says Toronto is the play. The Angels aren't hitting. If they didn't have Mike Trout in the lineup, they'd be the worst team in the league.
Okay.
And that's a little harsh, but
yeah.
Basically their offense has done nothing. He's 16 for his last 23, and they're barely winning games.
Tomor says Sanchez struggles against lefties. He's pitched well against an Angel team that doesn't have any good lefty bats. I'm not in this game, but I think there is some value with Toronto. Marco Lu says Toronto is the play. Not applicable, says Toronto coming out west will hit the bed. Kevy K says Angels can't really hit sometimes. Tomrino says I'd lean Toronto first 5. I don't trust their bullpen.
Yeah, and then you can't take the Angels on the money line. You have to take them on the run line.
Well, you can take them on the money. Sure, you can take them on the money line.
I just think minus 150 is too risky in this spot.
It is headed down a little bit. It's we'll see where this line moves. I could see this line. The slight line movement in favor of Toronto so far. All right, I think I'm going to pass on this one. My first glance lean was the Angels, but then I'm thinking that might be a trappy. Al Hard says best bet today card, no bet. I think this is going to be a light card for me. I'm definitely taking shots with the Cubs first 5 team total over and maybe some other shots on overs with that game. And Boston second half is a decent play I think as well. And now let's move on to another interesting game on the card. San Francisco Madison Bumgarner had lights out starts in the minors and the rehab starts, and I thought maybe he was going to come into the majors and be if not dominant, borderline excellent at worst. That hasn't quite happened. He's kind of struggled a little bit. Maybe he's not quite the Bumgarner of old. What do you think?
I'm gonna make a move on this Angels game. When you were saying you were gonna wait, I guess following a line movement, what's your expectation in the line movement?
My expectation is that the line goes just a teeny bit more further down. Yes. I would expect this right now. It's not much. I'm expecting not much. I will make a prediction here. Right now at Pinnacle, it's minus 146. I predict that in the evening show, we will come here and it will be minus 141 for the Angels. I predict a very small line move in favor of Toronto, but I could be totally wrong about that.
Well, I'm going to run with Nostra Toda and Ralph Portwando here. I'm going to take the Angels on the run line.
Okay.
It's tough to start a series out west, and Sanchez will be pitching in front of his friends and family. I don't know if that's going to help him. He just doesn't seem like the same pitcher, and I'm going to take a shot here.
All right, plus 135 at Bet365, Bookmaker, and a bunch of other places. Okay, Jim's going to take the Angels on the run line. San Francisco, San Diego. I was thinking that if there is a spot for Bumgarner to have a better spot, to have a better start, to have his best start of the year to date, it might come in this situation. Obviously, we know San Diego has a lineup that can be held down. Tyson Ross has been okay. I was leaning under in second half under on this one. What do you think, Jim?
I was leaning that way too. I was leaning first 5 under at first, but Twadi was saying Twadi says a couple of these bats, they hit Ross really hard, Belt being one of them. And I was surprised to read that because, 10 starts, 12 games against the Giants. He's a 3.08 ERA. Ross just seems to be pitching well.
Sorry, Nostra Toda just made a counter prediction. My prediction, Nostra Toda says it's going to shoot up, Pete. So Nostra Toda expecting maybe a 10-cent at minimum line move in favor of the Angels. Okay, we'll see. Nostra Toda, thank you for weighing in. We'll see who's right. I would say Nostra Toda is probably right. I'm just saying that the game, when I look at a game of this profile on paper, it looks kind of obvious that the Angels are the play. So that makes me think that the contrarian money will come in on Toronto. But I could be totally wrong about that.
And then Nostra. Speaking of, he's been fading Sanchez to great success. Everything he's been doing with great success. But he's been fading Mad Bum in all these starts. And he's making a ton of cash off of it.
Very, very nice. Tuate Latte says San Francisco kills Ross and Bummy's going to get hit. Kobe Valentine says, I like San Francisco. Wow. And Mally Mal says, Angels and over 7.5, San Diego under 7.5. Scotty Rock Forever likes San Francisco money line. Not Appleco says the bum gets a win.
Yeah, Tomer says Ross has only struggled with home runs and San Francisco hits lefties more. Idling under. San Diego has a good bullpen advantage. Yeah, Ralph Wanda says good play, good call, guys. Under 7.5.
All right, I'm going to start off just by taking the San Francisco second half under. I'll definitely take that one. Second half under. It is a 3.5 at a high juice line. Let me find where that one is. Second half under. San Francisco. Sorry, let me just quickly line shop here. San Francisco 3.5 minus 125. So I'll take that one. San Francisco second half under 3.5 minus 125, and I would be leaning a full game under as well. But some people are saying that Bumgarner is going to be vulnerable at least a little bit against San Diego once again, and that Ross might be vulnerable as well. So maybe the full game under not a great call.
Yeah, it's a trickier spot than when I first started breaking the game down. I'm just surprised Twadi's so strong with totals, is so certain of the over. And why would I go head to head against a guy who's so good with totals who's certain of the over?
That's true. He's so certain. He's certain of the over.
He's certain of the over. I mean, certain isn't a word that we use, but he says,
but he can't certain that is his opinion.
San Fran kills Ross and Bummy gonna get hit.
Okay. Kingu AB About Business says, guys, Madison Bum hasn't beat San Diego since May of 2016, going 0-4 last 6 starts against the Padres. Wow. Marco Lou says San Diego will probably be a run line play. Okay. Well, I'm taking the second half under here at 3.5 minus 125. Not sure what I think about the full game, but it's definitely an interesting matchup here to see how Bumgarner will do. I might look into, maybe that's something I'll look into a little bit more in the afternoon to see what's the deal with Bumgarner, see how he's pitching, what's likely coming up in the near future from him.
It just reminds me so much of last year when he came back from the bike accident. He just he seemed to look good early, run out of steam, start emoting on the mound. You could tell he was very upset about how things were going and that he was letting the team down, and that it just seems so reminiscent of last year. And this is a much better Giants ball club, and it's just so similar.
You see, there you go. That's great fucking analysis right there, Jimmy the Bag. Very nice, very nice. All right. The only other game that had an overnight line that we haven't talked about is Washington-Baltimore. Scherzer against Gausman. Man, is this a tough game to handicap here. Obviously, Scherzer is awesome, right? But you're paying for it, minus 270, minus 250. It is down a little bit. He opened at minus 300 at Pinnacle. Now it's down to minus 256 at Pinnacle. So the market movement in favor of Baltimore. And I guess the first glance no-brainer thought would be to the under, although it opened at 7.5. Now it's down to 6.5 or 7. You got to figure if Cashner and Gonzalez can produce a game that goes way under, why not Gausman and Scherzer, right?
This was just a tough game to break down as well, to find value, to find edge. Twadi giving us the numbers: Belt 381 against Ross, Panic 429, Pablo 333. And then Melee Plus way right below it says on San Diego in the under. Jim Tolbason's on Washington first 5 in the money line. I can't make that bet. I've been waiting for these Orioles to do something, to show something. And maybe yesterday was a chance. I mean, it's always tough when there's a 2-hour, 42-minute rain delay. Game temp, 82 Fahrenheit, wind blowing in. Gausman, 4.4 ERA, 1.4 whip. It has not won since May 11th. The last 2 starts have been okay, pretty good. June 9th, he allowed 3 runs, 6 2/3, losing to the Jays. June 15th, he gave up 2 runs, 5 2/3. He's not going far. I mean, it took him 107 pitches to get through that Marlins lineup, which is not a very good sign. Gausman, 3-1, 4.70 ERA, 4 career starts. Harper, 3 for 7, Rondon, 3 for 9 against him. Scherzer.
Can I say one quick thing? I decided I am going to take Boston on the -1 line. The line is headed up. I'm going to take Boston -1. I'm doubling up there. The money line part of that will be -120 at UWager and Bet365. The run line part of that will be +135 at Heritage and Greek and a few other places. So I'm taking Boston -1, -120, and +135. You want to tail me on that one, Jim? Join me on that one, Jim?
I'm going to make a play on that game, too. I'm going to take the over first 5, over 4.5, and the Red Sox Twins. Yeah.
You sure you want that one?
I am.
Okay, we can give you 4.5 minus 124. You want that one, huh? All right, Minnesota first 5 innings over 4.5 minus 124. I think if you like the over any which way in this game, that makes you like make the Boston even more.
I think that Porcello has a better chance of getting touched than Gibson, and that's the only reason why I'm not going to make that move.
Okay, so Jim has added first 5 innings over 4.5 minus 124, and I have doubled up. I took Boston -1, and I also took Boston on the second half at minus 120. That game starts in about 30 minutes, so 25 minutes, so I wanted to get that one in there. Sorry to cut off your analysis of Boston, Washington. Yeah, I just think this game is just, I'm going to pass on it.
Adam Jones hits 400 against Scherzer. So you think, oh, wow, if Adam Jones, but then Machado 2 for 25 and Trouble 1 for 16. Scherzer is just a monster. He's lost his last 2 starts. Are we really going to sit here and watch him lose 3 straight? Plus money's on the over 3.5 first 5 innings. Washington, Baltimore. Interesting. I can't find an angle with this spot here, and we'll be able to touch it on the late game. And then who was just Captain Sasan that says, boys, have you broke down that Cards game yet? Martinez versus Suter.
I have not looked at that one. No overnight line, but I'll break that one down in the evening show.
Yeah, with Suter and Cool, we didn't know who exactly was pitching until late. I mean, we had an idea that it was Suter, but the lines didn't even come out at my book until very late. Martinez looks terrible since coming off the DL with a strained forearm. Pete talks a lot about when you're out with an arm injury, it's much different than when you're coming back like with a slight back injury like we saw yesterday. He looks bad. He's a 0-1, 7.11 ERA, struck out 15, and he's walked 18 in 12 2/3. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
Hasn't got to the 5th inning in any of those outings. Opponent's batting 306 with a 908 OPS. He dominated Milwaukee twice earlier in the year, but he just doesn't seem like that guy right now. Suter has looked okay, good enough to possibly fade Martinez here. Who is the? I didn't look at the line in that game either. What is the money line in the
in the Milwaukee game? It's -120s for Milwaukee.
Yeah, that's I mean, I'd be curious to hear what you think of that game once you've capped it. Just from first glance, Martinez does not look good. You know.
Yeah. I mean, his velocity was up in his last start. I mean, his 2 starts ago. So I'm going to look into that one a little bit later on. In the meantime, Jim has given Angels run line +135, Mets run line +230, Cubs first 5 innings team total over 2.5, and Minnesota first 5 innings over 4.5. My plays: San Francisco second half under 3.5, Boston second half money line, Boston -1, and Cubs first 5 innings team total over 2.5. Not a ton of plays today. Thinking about throwing on some more overs in that Cubs and Cincinnati game, but that will come at 6 o'clock Eastern time in the 6 o'clock show if I do it. And that's about it. Anything else you want to add, Jim? That's it?
That's about it. I'm curious. I like Godley in this matchup. I feel like Godley's turned a corner. 2.92 ERA over his past 2 starts. He says he hasn't. He says he's still not finding his spots, that he's battling through games and stuff like that, which is a little concerning. But I don't trust Cool and what Cool's been doing lately. He's looked great. Past 8 starts, he has a 2.89 ERA. I don't have a play on that one yet. Curious to hear what you guys think about that. And Tomer says, I think Martinez will get stronger, but I want to see a good start before I back him. That makes a lot of sense.
All right, so let's move on to CFL. How about that, Jim?
Sure.
We got the CFL record up. I know I sent the CFL record. The CFL record should be there. This is about as small of a sample size as you can get, but I just want to throw this one up because I'm proud of it. I'm 3-0 in CFL. Jimmy the Bag also liked Winnipeg. He's 1-0 in CFL. What do you know? Look at that. Very nice. We got one game on the card tonight, and one of my winners was Saskatchewan in their last game against Toronto. You remember? Everyone was liking Toronto. The market liked Toronto. Jimmy the Bag, you told me that Drew liked Toronto. Did that faze me? No. I socked up. I had balls, and I took Saskatchewan. They got a win. Now they're going up against Ottawa. Ottawa's in their first game of the year. The market has moved strongly in Saskatchewan's favor, and I'm thinking that Ottawa might be the play here. Now, I understand there's issues for Ottawa. The main issue for Ottawa is that their offensive line is maybe weak, and that is going to be a big weakness against Saskatchewan, who has a very, very strong pass rush, a very strong defensive line. But Ottawa also has in general, a very dynamic offense. They had a great offense last year. Most of those pieces are back this year. They have been trying to fix their problems on defense. Defense was a problem last year. Supposedly, they've been trying to fix those problems. Saskatchewan is a good team. The one thing that makes me nervous here is the big advantage I think that Saskatchewan, at least on paper, should have in the trenches with their defensive line against Ottawa's offensive line. But other than that, I think that Ottawa should be the play here, and it's all the way down to -1. Did you look at this game, Jim?
I have looked at this game,
Yeah.
and I'm going to spend more time on it in the afternoon. I was shocked when the Red Blacks signed their new defensive coordinator off of the garbage fire that was the Montreal Alouettes team last year. Thorpe had no control over the players, and now he's come in to bring his so-called aggressive style to Ottawa. You don't.
By the way, sorry, am I not saying it right? Saskatchewan? Is that not how you say it?
Saskatchewan.
Okay, because Mr. Goakster's laughing at me. Okay, all right, go ahead,
Well,
Jim.
We're a little more comfortable with the Saskatchewan straight borders.
Yeah.
Straight borders because no one's ever battled over those borders because no one gives a fuck about what's going on in Saskatchewan. I was shocked that Thorpe was hired. I think that the Red Blacks couldn't win at home last year, and I almost want them to prove that they can win at home before I back them. Charleston Hughes is going to run roughshod over this makeshift offensive line. The pickups that they had, like the key offseason pickups the Red Blacks have, are nothing compared to other teams. They went 5-11-2 at home over the past 2 seasons. I'm going to work a little harder on this game, but my instinct is that this Rough Riders team is the real deal.
Yes.
That Chris Jones. Now, I was very uncomfortable with him cutting all the, fan favorites. And,
I wasn't.
No, but you're not Canadian. You don't know how much these guys mean to the city.
I'm also slightly sociopathic. Yes.
Yeah, and it was stupid. When you get emotional, you cap poorly. And I was emotional, and I didn't like that play, and it brought me back to times, when we cut Andre Ware in all the 4 American receivers, and it made me think, what a Bush League thing when you have these guys not on guaranteed contracts, and you cut them all of 3 days before the first game of the year, and now they have no job, and what the fuck are they supposed to do in life? And it's stupid. It's not stupid, but it's just not a good way to handicap. But the Rough Riders looked very, very good. That wasn't just I know it's just an 8-point win on paper, but they were very good. And Charleston Hughes is maybe the best pass rusher, arguably the best pass rusher in the league. So my instinct is to take the Rough Riders, and I hate the signing. I hate taking Thorpe off of the Alouettes when they were just a garbage fire and no one had control over their players. And so I'm going to spend a little more time, but I think that the Red Blacks have to prove that they can win at home, and I think the Rough Riders could get off to a very good start here. So I'm leaning towards the Rough Riders.
I mean, that's another factor that has to be considered for people who are not, deep into a CFL. Ottawa has been notoriously and kind of peculiarly bad at home, right? And they're aware of that. Now, there's other teams where that's been the case as well, most notably Toronto, right? For many years, the Argonauts were a good play.
Before they switched spots, right?
Right.
To BMO Field, everything changed.
Right. So when they were a good fade at home, and there was good reason for that. It was just that they were, the fans in Toronto didn't really care about the Argos that much, and they would constantly be overvalued at home and undervalued on the road. But I'm not exactly sure why that would be with Ottawa, though. I mean, Ottawa's a new team, right? So
it doesn't make sense. You're right. It doesn't make sense. They huge upset to win the Grey Cup, and since then they just haven't been able to succeed under Trevor Harris. We have not spoke about Trevor Harris hurt himself in the preseason. He says he's good to go, but that was both a knee and an ankle injury. So there's no doubt that he could have trouble making it through this game here. I really think that this. I think that the Rough Riders. I just think there's way more question marks with this Red Blacks team. Obviously, they haven't played yet this year.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's easy to say that. But I like Saskatchewan here. But I'm gonna study it a little more.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, my leans for now would be to the to Ottawa -1, and some people were also saying that they were liking the under. I was thinking that there might be a shot with the over here. I think that even though there's going to be a big advantage defensively for Saskatchewan in the trenches, Ottawa should be reasonably productive offensively. I think Saskatchewan will be productive offensively as well, and I was leaning over. Why were people leaning under on this one?
Just because how's Trevor Harris going to have any comfort in the pocket when the big problem with them is their offensive line, and the big stacked spot for Saskatchewan is their defensive line?
Mm-hmm.
But that's just simply put. That we don't. That's a small sample size. So you're right. That's people with just a recency bias over what happened in week 1. So I think that might be a very sharp move on your part to go against it. Mally Mal says Ottawa won first game 27-7 in preseason. I'm tailing that trend. I don't think tailing preseason trends is going to be helpful moving forward, but
right.
But Mally Mal knows what he's doing.
It's a very small preseason for CFL. Ken Peacock says I was liking the over. Danksy says buying some points and taking under 51s in Saskatchewan, Ottawa. Mally Mal says line dropped from 51 to 49, and Ken Peacock says second week in CFL they get it moving. Yeah. All right. I'm going to hold off for now. I'm very open that my leans are to Ottawa and the over, and I might make both of those picks in the evening show. But again, we will be back at 6 o'clock Eastern time, and I want to see where these lines do move. So Sana says Bet365 took the game off the board. Okay,
wow, and that the only thing that says to me is something's wrong with Trevor Harris.
Right. So I'm gonna wait to see what happens here. Yeah, I mean, if we come back and in the evening show, Ottawa's now a 2-point dog. I know exactly why that is. That's because Harris is listed as out or something like that.
Yeah, and they're in trouble.
Yeah, and they'll be in trouble. All right, I'm going to hold off for now, but as of right now, my leans are to Ottawa and the over, but definitely no official picks. We got to wait to see where the line moves go, and we got to wait to see where what happens with Trevor Harris to see if he's the most outstanding player contender this year. When he's healthy, he's going to run that offense well, right? No,
if you got to be able to win at home in front of your own fans for me to have confidence in you in this league. Trevor Harris has a ton of skill. I'm going to hammer this game in the afternoon. We'll have a lot to say about it before.
Okay, so now let's quickly move on to the soccer game that goes off in about an hour. And Jimmy the Bag and I both did lock in picks yesterday. We both took the over 2 at -145, and from everyone that we have listened to in the comments section, that seems like a play that probably has some value. Other people saying that Argentina minus points is worth a shot. Both teams to score is worth a shot. I took just that one play, but Jim took Croatia, Argentina over 2 -145. Both teams to score at -106. And he also took Messi to score at +120 and Aguero to score at +200. So that's 4 plays from Jimmy the Bag. I'm just on one simple play over 2 -145. So our plays are already in for this game.
No, I'm going to add one play.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to add one play. I'm going to take Argentina to win this game.
Okay.
On the 3-way. Carlos Baroge says, is CFL like the XFL? Never bet it. No, CFL, when I first started going down to Vegas, I would go with a plan to bet the most on a certain CFL game. I'd have a CFL game wrapped around my whole trip because I felt it was the easiest to get an edge on. We have a ton of information on the players, and I really I feel like there's a huge edge, and I've always felt that way with CFL. And last year, when the Alouettes became just this dumpster fire, they were losing by 30 and 35, and it was just a guaranteed moneymaker each week, and that happens in this league. The problem I felt with the XFL is it was tougher to get the information on the players, whereas the CFL, it's an important league in our country, and we have a ton of people following it, a ton of reporters on it, and a ton of information. I think we can make a lot of money doing it.
Okay. Mally Mal says Trevor Harris plays for which team? I'm going to guess Saskatchewan. No?
Yeah.
Is that right?
No, but you're saying the province.
Oh, okay. No, Trevor Harris plays for Ottawa. And he is I think he's a yeah. I don't understand what their deal is with playing at home. My sense is just to write it off and say, because they're aware of it. They talk about it in their interviews. They're like, we got to play better for our home fans. Now, does that mean that suddenly they will have psychological issues and put pressure on themselves, or will they give an extra effort and be better? I don't know. That's a weird one.
It's just it's for me. It's early in the season. I just need a little bit more work on that game. So I will do that work in the afternoon. We'll wait till the lines back up on the board, and we'll get a good play on that for sure.
Okay.
And I think that you're over there might be a really sharp move going against the recency bias of that first game that Saskatchewan played.
Yeah.
I'm going to add 2 plays here.
Okay.
I'm going to take Argentina to win.
Okay.
And I'm also going to take Argentina -1.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Jimmy the Bag looking to stack some units. I like it. All right. Jim's going to take Argentina on the 3-way, right?
Yeah.
What line are you getting there?
I'm 3-way. I'm getting +110.
Yes, that's the line at Heritage as well. So Argentina money line +110, and then you're taking Argentina -1. And what line are you getting there?
Just let me quickly convert it.
Okay. Argentina -1. What line are you getting there?
Sorry, I'm gonna need a second because it's it's in decimal.
Oh, God.
Sorry, I'm gonna quickly convert it at SBR.
Decimals. All right, I'll read some comments here. Mr. Gogster says, GoFundMe account for Pete to come up to Canada and catch a CFL game this year. That would be super awesome. And people are probably wondering, why doesn't Pete just pay for his own ticket? And the answer is, because I ain't got the money for that, okay? I ain't got the money. And people are like, I thought, what? Yes, I ain't got the, no, I'm kidding around. I could do it. But, free shit is just much sweeter. GoFundMe account. I never had a GoFundMe account for anything, Jim. All right, let's see.
Grabbing -1 at +200.
Okay, +200, and that is currently the line at Heritage. All right, let's see. What do we have here? Kevy K says Messi been practicing penalty kicks for a week. Let's see. Mally Mal says, haven't all these cup games been going under? Yes, they have. For the most part, right, Jim?
It's been. I had a guy contact me. Ex-hockey player, says he's been watching this show. He's going to become a much bigger part of this show. Andy Blue, and he said he's been destroying unders, but he still has friends playing in the NHL. He said that next hockey season, he's going to be a huge asset to our show.
Really? Oh, yeah. God, that's so awesome. And that's what I envision. I envision like a group of people who really know what they're talking about and just want to share the information, becoming just like this army. You know what I'm saying? Of information for us.
Absolutely.
Right? And all we have to do is sit back and make a few jokes here and there and listen, and bam. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
Oh, God, so that would be awesome.
He's been watching the show, and he's wants to have a bigger role in it. Andy Blue will be he'll be on our chat coming up, and he said that he's just making a mint on unders, every game unders.
Not Applicable says Pete would fit in with all the homeless camps there in Canada. I think I would. I don't really like the homeless people in the United States, but I've seen videos of homeless people in Vancouver, and I feel like I would fit in with those people.
It's hard to find out who's a homeless guy and who's just a European backpacker. It really is. It's not,
it really is.
It really is. It's a tricky.
For sure. All right, so let's see what's coming in. And Mally Mal says, seems like under is the profitable side. People are working. Kevy K says, yes, Mally, guys adjusting to the latitude. Is the fact that it's being played?
Oh, and Russia? There he is. There's Andy Blue right there.
Oh shit!
There he is right there. Shit. Speak of the guy, and he says Islanders signed Trotz. Unbelievable. What a pack of idiots this Capitals brass is. You extend the assistant coach and you don't extend Trotz. You deserve to have your Stanley Cup winning coach go. And what a score. What a great score for this Islanders team. That also tells me that they're going to re-sign Tavares. I doubt that Trotz would want to go over there without old Johnny 1T being signed.
All right, so there have been a lot of unders. Do you think that there's something about the location? Maybe, you know what, I'll ask Alex. I'll ask Alex and Natalie about that. If the location of Russia has had something to do with all the unders that we've seen, because that's possible. It's not really something. I mean, I know that like altitude matters, obviously. In all sports, MMA and like in Mexico has a high altitude. So but let's see. Other comments here coming in. Any comments that before we wrap up the show? Any important comments we got to get to?
Melee Palace Way taking a shot with a penalty. Penalty kick in the Argentina game. That's not a bad. I wonder what line he's getting there. I kind of like that.
Yeah, Ken Peacock says Argentina's defense is shit, but the under has been good in these second-round games. Tomor, I'm on Argentina. I think Messi bounces back. Croatia isn't a great offensive team. I think Argentina's defense will be fine. So Tomor sounds like he is liking Argentina more than he would like the over. Again, a lot of people have said that they like both teams to score. Ken Peacock says Argentina's defense is shit. Tomor says, I think Argentina's defense will be fine. So which is Argentina's defense fine or shit? This is a very important handicapping decision we have to make here.
There are weak spots, but there's bigger weak spots on Croatia's defense.
Okay.
Croatia's back line, especially on the left side, big holes. So, yeah, I mean, Argentina is not a team blessed with great defenders, but they have great skilled forwards. And I got 6 plays on this game, and I'd be not applicable on a draw game. This is the time when I think Argentina steps up.
Okay, so with the fine shit dichotomy, which is a very common dichotomy you see in all of sports betting, the fine shit dichotomy, Argentina's defense you think lands on fine?
No, maybe it's below average.
Okay, but not quite shit.
No, not shit.
Okay, so it's somewhere in the middle between Tomor's analysis and Ken Peacock's analysis. Let's see. Carlos Barode says, I like Croatia, sleeper team. Tomor definitely disagrees with that. Let's see. Other comments coming in. Scotty Rock Forever likes Argentina. Mr. Gokster likes the over. Okay. Ken Peacock says Argentina money line is the play. So Ken Peacock likes Argentina money line despite the fact that he thinks their defense is shit. Okay. Anything else, Jim?
That's about it. That's about it. We got a lot of work to do.
Yes.
Then we're going to have a team bankroll with us in the afternoon show.
Looking forward to that. All right, so everyone, we'll be back at 6 o'clock Eastern time where we will review the rest of the MLB card. We'll go over the CFL game one more time, and of course, we'll have a huge 30-minute block with Alex and Natalie from Team Bankroll. That's at 6 o'clock today. Catch you then.